Before we start, do something simple that helps the channel grow a lot and keeps you always informed. Hit the like button now, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any updates. That shows you really follow Manchester City closely and want to stay up to date with everything involving the club. Once that's done, let's get straight to the point, because today's information has a direct impact on the squad, the transfer market, and the fight for trophies. Behind-the-scenes talks have heated up, and one name is at the center of the headlines: Antoine Semenyo. The forward has made it clear internally that he does not want to wait indefinitely for a decision and is putting pressure on Bournemouth for a clear timeline for his move to Manchester City. He does not hide his desire to work with Pep Guardiola and compete for major trophies now, while he is at his physical and technical peak. At 25, he feels this is a decisive moment in his career. His recent spell in the Premier League has boosted his confidence. His power, acceleration, direct finishing, and fierce competitiveness have caught the eye, and it is no coincidence City have pushed hard to sign him. There is also a strategic element. Within the squad, there is an understanding that Erling Haaland solves a lot, but he cannot carry the entire attacking load across the whole season. Widening the range of solutions in the final third is a priority. Semenyo fits that plan because he offers depth, runs into space, and the ability to break down compact defenses. Interest from other English giants has not gone unnoticed, but the player is prioritizing working with Guardiola and the competitive environment at the Etihad. Financially more attractive offers from other clubs have been considered, but his decision is clearly driven by sporting ambition. Behind the scenes, timing has become a sensitive issue. Bournemouth would like to count on Semenyo for specific matches at the start of January, particularly in clashes against direct rivals. There is a defined release clause, estimated at $65 million valid until a set date, and that naturally creates tension. Manchester City can simply trigger the clause but are negotiating alternative payment structures to preserve the good relationship between the clubs. City's sporting department are working with the understanding that every week matters when building the squad for the rest of the season. The priority is to give the coach more tools while the battle at the top of the table becomes increasingly intense. For the player, the argument is straightforward: compete at the highest level, fight for major titles, improve every day under a manager who maximizes talent, and step into a winning cycle. Semenyo feels ready. He is not just looking for a transfer, but for a new level, and City see that this mental profile matches the spirit in the dressing room, which is one of constant demands and hunger for silverware. The discussion around Semenyo is intertwined with what happens on the pitch. The recent run of wins has boosted the squad's confidence and brought other key figures to the fore. Tijani Reinders has become an immediate impact player. He has found his space in the team's playing model and has started contributing directly to decisive goals. In a tricky away match against Nottingham Forest, he showed composure and game intelligence, finishing with precision after a perfectly weighted pass from Ryan Cherki. It was not just the goal, it was the symbol of a team that, even under pressure, finds technical solutions. That match showed how the Premier League demands intensity from the first to the last minute. Nottingham Forest reacted quickly, equalized through Omari Hutchinson, and created a hostile atmosphere in the stadium. Manchester City could have settled for the draw, but Ryan Cherki stepped up at the decisive moment. A precise half-volley decided the match and kept the team alive in the chase of Arsenal. That kind of moment defines titles because it reveals personality, composure, and talent under maximum pressure. Cherki has become a real difference maker. His ability to break lines, improvise, and create overloads where there is no space has changed the attacking dynamic. He has taken responsibility, freeing Haaland from part of the attacking burden. Around them, other players have grown with this redistribution of protagonism. The mood has become lighter and at the same time more competitive internally. Reinders has acknowledged this publicly, openly praising Cherki and sending an indirect message to Arsenal. Manchester City have no intention of easing the pressure at any point. That statement goes beyond a simple dressing room quote. It expresses a collective mentality. Manchester City view the season as a marathon in which every matchday counts. There is no room for switching off. Reinders has recent experience in another European league and has compared the physical and mental demand. In England, any lapse is punished. The intensity does not drop. This context has raised the midfielder's level, and he now plays with greater freedom to create and arrive in the box. This individual transformation reflects the daily work and understanding of the playing model. On the back of this positive run, the team are preparing to face Sunderland, looking to extend their winning streak, while keeping a close eye on the fixtures of their direct rivals. Injured players are close to returning, and that widens the options. Combined with the potential arrival of Antoine Semenyo, the outlook points to a deeper, more balanced squad. The season is long, and the demands of 4 competitions at the same time require options in every position. The news does not stop on the pitch. There is also planning for future windows. The club are monitoring the winger market and have broadened their radar to names of the highest caliber. Michael Olise, currently at Bayern Munich, has entered the watch list of major European clubs, and Manchester City are following him closely. Guardiola likes players who can operate both centrally and wide, with tactical intelligence and decision-making ability in the final third. Olise fits that profile. However, Bayern are not showing any willingness to sell and are working to keep the player with an improved contract. He has a long-term deal and there is no financial pressure, which makes any departure unlikely in the short term. That does not prevent planning. Manchester City always project different scenarios. Bernardo Silva's situation is being monitored, Oscar Bob's development carries weight in decisions, and Keiki is part of a young group the club view as a medium-term investment. If their natural progression continues, the urgency for a marquee signing decreases. If a strategic opportunity arises, City will be ready. The message is clear. There is no rush. There is constant evaluation based on performances, the squad's physical condition, and market opportunities. Amid all this, one question still hangs in the air among supporters. Antoine Semenyo would add immediate depth and power to the attack. Ryan Cherki and Tijani Reinders are already showing chemistry and direct impact on results. Michael Olise represents medium-term ambition. The club are balancing present and future, competition and renewal, stability and boldness. That combination explains why they have stayed at the top for so long. The script of this season is still being written on the pitch and in the boardrooms. Decisions taken in January and in the summer will shape the squad for the coming years. What today looks like a rumor may become a concrete move in the market, and what seems distant may gain momentum with a change in context. Football is dynamic, and Manchester City are working to stay ahead of that dynamic. Looking at this whole picture, it is clear the club are going through a phase of planned transition. Nothing is done on impulse. Every move in the market, every promotion of a youth player, and every contract renewal forms part of a bigger mosaic designed to sustain a high competitive level for years. That is why the names now making headlines, such as Antoine Semenyo and Michael Olise, are not just immediate answers, but part of a broader project. The Semenyo case symbolizes the urgency of the present. The squad needs more impact in the decisive zones of the pitch across a season that mixes the Premier League, cups, and European competitions. The fixture load is huge, and the physical demands are extreme. In that context, having more forwards capable of deciding matches is essential. Semenyo offers exactly that: depth, the ability to attack the space behind the defense, mobility, and aggressiveness in 1v1 situations. On top of that, he would arrive hungry, keen to prove his worth at a club that fights for everything. At the same time, the growth of Ryan Cherki and Tijani Reinders shows that City do not rely solely on the market to get stronger. Internal development is real. Cherki has raised the team's creative standards. When the game stalls, he finds ways through. When space disappears, he creates it. That trait is rare and explains why he has so quickly taken on a leading role. Reinders, in turn, has gained confidence by understanding the finer details of the tactical system. He has started to arrive in the box more, finish better, and dictate the tempo in pressure moments. Together, they form a partnership that has changed the team's attacking rhythm. This connection is not accidental. It comes from intense training sessions, repetition, understanding of movements, and mutual trust. Gradually, the fans have noticed something important. The team do not rely on a single star to function. Even when there are absences, the level of performance remains. That is the result of a carefully built squad and a manager who demands that everyone understands multiple roles on the pitch. In this context, keeping an eye on a name like Michael Olise does not mean devaluing those already at the club. On the contrary, it shows that City never get complacent. Interest in players of that caliber sends a clear message to the squad and their rivals. The standards will not drop. At the same time, the club show calmness. They know Bayern are highly unlikely to let go of a player they see as part of their future. They also understand that long contracts and no pressure to sell make any deal more complex. Therefore, they treat the matter as planning, not obsession. It is important to highlight how everything is connected. The possible arrival of Semenyo, Cherki's impact, Reinder's evolution, and the monitoring of Olise are all part of the same thread. The club work in layers. There are signings for now, consolidation of those already here, and observation of future opportunities. Meanwhile, the title race remains intense and every matchday carries emotional weight. Arsenal are not slowing down, other contenders are trying to close the gap, and any slip-up changes the mood of the campaign. The next games become crucial not only because of the table, but because of what they represent in terms of confidence. Consecutive wins create a positive spiral that energizes fans and players. Every decisive goal, like that half volley from Cherki, reinforces the feeling that the team finds solutions even under maximum pressure. That is the mark of a championship-level squad. At the same time, the return of injured players opens up new combinations and allows for more rotation, avoiding excessive fatigue. The supporters can see there is a rare balance between planning and ambition. Manchester City do not act out of desperation. They act out of conviction. When they identify a need, they go after it. When they understand it is better to wait, they wait. That approach explains the consistency of recent seasons. It is not just about having good players, but about constantly renewing competitive hunger and keeping everyone at a very high level of expectation and demand. The conclusion to the Semenyo saga should come soon, precisely because the player does not hide his desire to speed up the transfer. He sees Manchester City as the perfect environment for the definitive leap in his career. For their part, the club see him as someone who can broaden their attacking options and share the responsibility in big games. At the same time, the tracking of Olise continues calmly, while Cherki and Reinders are already delivering immediate performances. Looking at the bigger picture, everything fits together like pieces of the same puzzle. Recent wins sustain confidence. The market can bring in new weapons. The current squad are responding with performances and personality. And the rivals can feel the presence of a Manchester City side that do not ease off, do not drop their intensity, and do not step away from the fight at the top. If you have made it this far, it is because you really follow the club closely and want to see City getting stronger and stronger. So give that little push that helps our work a lot. Hit the like button now, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you do not miss any updates on transfers, behind-the-scenes news, and matches. It is simple for you and makes all the difference so that we can keep bringing you content about Manchester City.